Hi, and welcome back to the 60th episode of the Yarn Junkie podcast. My name is Amber. If you are a new or returning viewer, thanks for watching and coming to visit with me. This is my dog Lucy, one of three. I'm coming to you from Texas, where I live with my husband, our 2 daughters, and 3 dogs, and various other animals. Places you can find me are on Instagram, where I'm most active. I can be found as _Yarn Junkie. And then on Ravelry, I am Yarn Junkie with the number 6, and there is a Yarn Junkie podcast group. So if you want to find me in those places, I would be happy about that and friend you back and all that stuff. Go lay down, please. Go lay down. Go. Go lay down. Nope. Go. Lay. So I have quite a bit to show you guys. I'm just going to open up my show notes and ignore the dog so he goes away. I have a couple of FOs, a bunch of whips, and like always, I'm just going to jump right in. So the elephant in the room is I finished my tank top. So this is the Sacco Stripes by Pam Allen, and it is made with Quince & Co. Sparrow, which is their linen yarn, and I can't remember what this colorway is. It's just the undyed one. I think it's called Sands, but don't quote me on that. So that's how much I have left over after doing the stripes, and I did end up having to buy a new ball. I had a couple of friends at Knit Night tell me just to carry on the stripes up the front, but as you see, I did the back, and I wanted it to match. Like, I didn't want to do stripes up the front and then it not match, because it is knit in 2 pieces and then seamed. I think I did a great job seaming it. It is a little form-fitting right now. If you don't know, I am 14 weeks pregnant today. So it fits a bit tighter than it's supposed to, just because of my growing size. And this is probably the last wear I'll get out of it until I lose the baby weight. But I really enjoyed the knit. I would definitely knit it again. I have my eye on some Shibui linen that my local yarn store carries, and I want to do it in like a black and a lime green. I thought that would be really cute, but I'll stand up a little bit so you can see it. So as you can see, like, my belly kind of pokes out, and so it's a bit more fitted than it's technically supposed to be, but overall I'm quite happy with it, and I know that it will fit great once I downsize and lose the baby weight. So that was an easy knit. I mean, I would call this a beginner garment. A couple of things that I wish I would have done differently, and again, this could just be because of my increased chest size. I think I'm up like a cup size, honestly, is knit the straps longer, because it does kind of go right under your arm. And I was reading the project notes on this on Ravelry after I got done with it, and a lot of people complained about the same thing. Like, some people made adjustments, just knit this part longer before they started the decrease for the straps. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it, and it's nice and cool for our summers, because it gets really hot here in Texas, and the linen is just really nice. So another FO that I have, it's kind of a cheat, to be honest. I started this last year too, guys. I've been really bad with my whips lately, but they get done eventually. But this is the Whispering Pines shawl, and I would definitely call it more of a shawlette, even though I but I stopped it after 1 of the lace repeats instead of doing 3 repeats like the pattern calls for, just because I was over it. Like, I had no desire to continue knitting on this, and it was either frog it or finish it, and I just decided to do 1 lace repeat and get it off my needles. So the yarns I used are Madeline Tosh is the speckled, and it's in the colorway Cotopaxi, and I did bead the entire thing. Like, it's all beaded. So, and this was my second beading project, and I enjoy beading, but I just I was done with this, and I didn't think it was going to be a size that I would ever wear. And so what I'm going to do with this is give it to my mother-in-law, because she is quite a tiny lady, and she goes to church, and she's quite cold-natured, and I just thought, you know, she could sit there. I'll probably get her like a shawl pin. She could sit there and wear it like this over her shoulders, and it would be, you know, nice. Or she could even wear it, you know, bandana style. I'm not sure how she'll style it. I asked her if she would take care of a shawl if I gave it to her, because this is cashmere yarn. I don't think I said the bottom one is Blue Lagoon is the colorway name, and it's Dream in Color Smushy is the brand. And this one is the 80-10-10, which is merino nylon cashmere. So I told her, you know, if I give you this shawl, you're going to have to hand wash it. And she didn't have a problem with that. I actually don't mind it like that, but I'm just not a shawlette person. I really like big shawls, and this just doesn't fit the bill for me. Even, like I said, even if I would have finished out the repeats, it would have only added 2 inches to the length of it and nothing really to the wingspan. So yeah, that is that. It is done. I'm glad that it's done, honestly, so I can move on to bigger and better things. So what else have I been working on? I have a couple of hose. My first hoe that I have done is this self-striping sock. I knit this for a class I was teaching. I teach sometimes at my local yarn store, and I use the term local loosely. If you don't know, I live quite rural, and it takes me about an hour and 20 minutes to get to my local yarn store. So it's 70 miles or so. I'm not sure. Can't remember how many miles it is, but it's not so local. But I have that in my Nomadic Yarns yarn cube. I love this thing. And then this is the ball. It's one of those hand-wound balls from Nomadic Yarns. And this is the Lake Life colorway. I think last time, I was showing, I think I tagged it on Instagram as Lost Lakes, but that's what Knit Picks calls their yarn that's a lot like this. This is Lake Life. And I don't have the tag in here, of course, because why would I have the tag? But here's the sock, and I did the Afterthought heel, and like I said, I did a class on this heel at my local yarn store, and it is so easy. Like, I cut in, I think it's my new favorite heel, and I definitely love how it matches with the self-striping yarn. And so I did knit this one quite a bit long, and it's actually even long on the foot. I don't know what I was thinking, I went to town on knitting this, and so I may begrudgingly gift these to my husband for the partner box of socks that I'm hosting in my group on Ravelry. So if you're knitting your husband, wife, significant other socks, be sure to check out that thread. There's lots of other ladies that are knitting their spouses socks, and I'm enjoying seeing everybody's yarn choices and what they like knitting. So these might go to him, or I just might rip out the toe or just deal with them being long, honestly. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but I quite liked knitting on this yarn, and it's perfect for summer. I took these to the pool and had them done in about 5 days because I was knitting on other things and couldn't be bothered to do my own homework for my own class. The next sock that I've been knitting on is kind of overdue. It's actually not for me, it's for somebody else, and I need to get the other one done. So this is the Rose City Roller sock pattern, and I just input a Eye of Partridge heel from the Hermione's Everyday sock pattern, which is also a free pattern. The Rose City Rollers is a free pattern too. Just because I like that heel, I like the way it looks. And this yarn is a Baronvula. I actually do think I have the tag for this. Baronvula in colorway. I don't speak German, so there it is. And it is a virgin wool merino in polymid. So 80%, 20%. And here's the cake. It's this really beautiful speckled, teals and purples and shots of gold on a kind of buttercup yellow base. My daughter, Atrella, really, really loves this colorway. The whole time I've been working on it, she's been commenting on how much she loves it. So I'm kind of hoping, since I'm doing rollers, I'll be able to have enough to knit her a pair of shorty socks as well. And I have that in one of my, I can't remember the maker on this bag. Isn't that terrible? And she doesn't have a tag. She's on Etsy, this quilted bag, drawing up a blank. I Heart You, maybe? I just really love this little tooth denture thing that my friend at Knitty by Nature sent me. So that is that project. Like I said, I haven't even cast on for the second sock, so we'll see where I go with that. My vertebrae pattern is in there. That's weird. It doesn't go in there. So the next, that is all my hose, isn't it? Yes. I'm gonna wipe my nose. I've been having such bad allergies since being pregnant. I don't have allergy problems not pregnant, and my husband's quite allergic to very many things, especially seasonal allergies and the dogs and stuff. He just sniffles and sneezes. And being pregnant with his offspring makes me susceptible to the same ailments. It's pretty awful. So I will continue on and talk about my whips. So the last time I showed you guys the baby vertebrae, which is what I'm knitting here. I think I was about here somewhere. I've done the bottom ribbing, and I've picked up the stitches for the collar, or the button band, or whatever you want to call that. It's a collar, but it goes all the way down, so people don't like calling it a collar. I don't know. So the gray is Madeline Tosh in colorway Charcoal, and then the variegated yarn is a hand-dyed yarn by Bohemia Fibers, based off a photo that I took, so it's a one of a kind. But I haven't worked on that much. I just kind of do it as I have a minute, and I want to do ribbing, so that's all in my Suburban Stitcher Bluebonnet bag, and I get so many compliments on this bag, and it's one of my favorites because Bluebonnets, Texas, love. The next two projects are actually new whips that y'all have not seen, and the first one that I cast on was this. This is a paid pattern, and it's called The Little Sisters Romper by Petite Knit, and it's on Ravelry, and I think it's about it's less than $5. It's $4 something, but it is so cute, and I'm gonna have a little Christmas baby that's gonna be so adorable in this. So I knit this hat a couple of weeks ago for said Christmas baby with Jinx yarn in her self-striping Naughty or Nice colorway. And I thought it would be so adorable to knit like a little sweater or something. And then I found that Petite Knits romper, and so I cast on for that. And you do the front, and then you do part of the back, and then you join them together and knit, and then separate them again. So this is what I have so far. I feel like this is so dang tiny. I'm knitting the 0 to 3 month size. I think I've mentioned before that I kind of have babies on the bigger side, so my girls never went into newborn clothes. Not even newborn diapers fit them. They went straight into one size diapers, and then 0 to 3 month stuff, and then was out of that really quick. So I have massive children. But I just feel like this is so tiny. Look at that little butt. And I'm going to use cloth diapers. I used those with my second and loved them. So, and I have my little jingle bell on here because Christmas, baby, hello. And that's all I have so far is just the little start of it. But I'm knitting this with Knit Picks. I think the colorway is Heartfelt, and it's their Stroll Fingering, I want to say, maybe. I lost the ball band for it because, yeah. And I'm knitting those on likey needles, which are the driftwood, and I got a 16-inch because that's what I needed for the circumference. And I don't have, I have interchangeables, but none of them are a 16-inch circumference. So I had to pick up a pair of needles. So this is technically an acquisition. And I got 2 packages because I wasn't sure. The pattern says, it's really confusing because it says suggested needles, 3 millimeters or US size 3. Well, a US 2.5 is a 3 millimeter. So I got these, and then I got the US size 3, which is a 3.25 millimeter. And I knit on these first since I was reading the project pattern notes again before I started the project. And a lot of people use the size 3s, and I did like the gauge that I got with that. So, and it's going to have buttons on the crotch and then buttons on the overall part. I'm really enjoying this project, but I had to knit on something else for another class that I'm teaching that already is underway, which is the Afterthoughts Everything Socks. So I've knit this pattern once before. Again, it's a paid pattern on Ravelry. I think it's only like $2 though. So basically what you do is knit a tube. Here's my tube. And cut in your heel and toe. Technically the pattern says to put in waste yarn for the heel, but I'm like, what's the point in doing that? If I'm cutting in the toe, I'm just gonna cut the whole damn thing. So this is the self-striping Jinx yarn again in the Naughty or Nice colorway. And I decided, me and the baby are going to match. It's going to be so adorable. And Christmas in July is coming up. I know a lot of people are doing that cow. I don't think that I'll be able to enter these since I started them last Thursday. And it's a whip, that I'm going to have to be done with. But I did start them. And I do have, just to make it summery, my Knitty by Nature sock progress keeper in the, like 4th of July print, because America. And that's where I'm putting in my first heel, and I'm to the first part where I'll put in my toe. But I'm just knitting a tube. So I'll knit this whole thing again up here. And I have to be done with it tomorrow night for my class. I told them to come prepared with their tubes. And I'm being a really bad teacher because I'm getting distracted by other things, like that romper. I started that this weekend after I picked up the needles last week at knit night. And I just love this yarn though. And another project that I started, I'm really flying through this, but I truly wanted to sit down and show you some of the stuff she's working on. So I'm trying to go quick so we have enough time for her to do that as well. My Afterthought Everything, another project that has just completely distracted me. I've seen a few people mention this, but the last person to mention it were Sal and Al of the Wool Slayers. They always go over a couple of free patterns that they have found that they enjoy. And so this is a free pattern on Ravelry, and it is called Afternoons at Longbourn. And it is a triangle shawl that has fringe. Are you kidding? And it's kind of meant to be a fade. So you can use as many or as little colors as you want. The pattern calls for 4 colors, I believe. Yeah, A, B, C, and D. It gives you the yardage of what she used. And I think I'm going to have some shortages on that, and I'll show you what I mean with my yarn choices. So I just have my little paper clip to hold my place in my pattern. And oh my gosh, do I love this knit. I'm really trying not to knit on this and finish up my sock for my class, but this has got me like so obsessed. So my first colorway is this Blue Lagoon in the Dream in Color Smushy, the same yarn that I used on my Whispering Pine shawl. Isn't that such a beautiful color? I picked this up on our trip a few years ago. We went to New Orleans, and I went to a local yarn store there. I couldn't even tell you the name of it now. It doesn't matter. It was a really cool yarn store in the French Quarter. And I picked this up, Dream in Color Smushy with cashmere. It's gorgeous. It is so soft. I love this color. And this is a textured pattern. So I know a lot of people hate purling. I cannot relate to that. I guess it's the way I knit. I purl as fast as I do the knit stitch. So I've been flying on this. And it is so glorious and textured, and I love it. It's a little blown out, not so true to color. And another one of my little Knitty by Nature progress keepers, the little moon. I love it. And just love this textured stitch. It is just my jam. I've been flying on this. I started it the day before yesterday, and again, I've only been allowing myself a few rows because I need to knit that sock. And I'm like, okay, I gotta sit this down and knit my sock. But I have it all tucked in my French supply bag, and I've put a couple of my pins on there. My West 7th wool pin, and this is just an owl I picked up somewhere local. And my Harry Potter night buzz that I got when we were at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So the other colors that I'm going to use are, this color is blue, I don't think it's Blue Studios, Twisted Owl Fiber Studio. Twisted Owl Fiber Studio is a local, again, Texas dyer out of Longview, but she is a, what is that word called? Wholesaler to the local yarn store that I go to. West 7th Wool carries this yarn. And it is the colorway Goblet King, which again, I'm a huge 80s movie fan. And so the Labyrinth, this is a reference to the Labyrinth. The Goblin King is David Bowie's character in that movie. But it's just a light, speckly, bluey color. It's got some different shots of, like, there's pink and there's a little bit of yellow, but it's mostly this really gorgeous teal blue color on a creamy base. So that's going to be my next color after this. Oh, so beautiful. I was originally planning to do some socks with this, but the shawl came along. I was also, this is the colorway my mom had picked before she passed away for me to knit socks with. And this is the same colorway that is also in my Whispering Pines, but a different base. So this is just the Twist Light from Madeline Tosh in their Cotopaxi colorway. So I'm going to do that as my third. And then my last colorways, because again, I'm kind of fudging the yardage here, are these grays. And I thought it went well with this. And these both are Lola Did It. These are both in my fade. This one is Folsom, and this one is Coal Miner's Daughter. And then this is Brazen Stitchery in her Gandalf the Grey colorway. And I knit this into my loop shawl, which you can find on Ravelry. And it's just this, it's on a gold speckled, or sparkle, gold sparkle base, and I really like it. I think that kind of, the gradient grays kind of go well together for the bottom on the fringe. So that works. And we'll tuck all these yarns back in. And yeah, like I said, I'm obsessed with that project right now. So I can't wait to be done with my socks so I can just focus on that and knit like the wind. So I'm going to stop it right here and grab my few acquisitions, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I do have a few acquisitions. I haven't technically broken my yarn diet, maybe just a little bit. The first thing I had to pick up was this copy of Making magazine. I really love this magazine overall. I love everything they put out. I love the texture and feel of it. And while there isn't anything that's jumping out of me to make right away, I did really like these buttons that they show you how to make. There's not a good picture of them without the process. Oh, I'll just show you. So they show you to get these little rings, and I found those like at Joann's for a couple bucks. And you basically just sew sew your yarn onto them so you always have a matching button for your sweater. I just thought that was ingenious, and I'd really like to try that out. And there's a couple of embroidery patterns in here, which I've been really wanting to try my hand at. I haven't, and there's a recipe, like there's usually a recipe in here, and I think that's really cool. So overall, I just really love making magazine, and I had to pick up a copy, even though I don't have any real plans to make anything yet. And then my husband sent me into Michael's a few weeks ago for some supplies that he needed. And I went and looked at their yarn, and I picked up these 2 balls of Patton's Classic Wool, which is just their worsted. And I plan to do pants for the baby. Again, I use cloth diapers, and wool makes great diaper covers. I do like a fitted cloth diaper without any of that like polyurethane in there. For my second, I went through quite a bit of brands of cloth diapers, and again, if this doesn't interest you, I'm sorry, but I promise it has a wool ending. And I did a lot of the cheapy diapers that have like the plastic on the inside. It's like sewn in, but then there's cloth. But I found, especially in our climate, that those just overheated the diaper area and caused a bit of heat rash. And so I looked into it more and found a really good company. I think it's a Work at Home Mom brand out of Canada, actually. And I found on her henna cart, and she makes like minky and bamboo and just cloth diapers that require a cover. So you either have to get like a PUL, polyurethane cover to put over the baby, or you can use wool. And you can do shorties or longies or just little like bloomer style covers, and that really helps to keep the baby dry and not feel moist when you pick up the baby. So these, again, I really like gray on babies. I don't think it leans more boyish than it does girlish. I'm sure once I put a baby girl all in gray, someone's going to call her a boy. Whatever, babies look the same under a year-old anyway. So I was going to do the longies, this being the top and bottom part, and then this being the legs. And yeah, the pattern, I found a pattern, I can't remember what it's called, and this is a little bit scratchy, but once you do a lanolin soak and wash it in wool wash, they soften up quite a bit. I use this in a couple of different pairs of shorties that I made for my second child, and so yeah, it's a little scratchy, but it's fine. It will soften up for baby. So those are those, and then I showed you guys a pair of socks that I was working on last time that I don't have the finished object to show you, but it was the Madeline Tosh sample that I was knitting for my friend who works for Madeline Tosh. And I think last episode I said that she works at the place they dye. They dye in South America, not in Fort Worth, so she works at the distribution center. Should correct that. But in payment for me knitting those samples for her, she had told me she'd pay me, and I thought she was joking about it, but she wasn't. And she told me, she could write me a check or give me a gift card to Madeline Tosh, and I was like, gift card please, that way I'm not, spending money on yarn. So I got the gift card and went to their website, and they're doing a summer sale right now, and they have gobs of stuff. Y'all should definitely go check it out. But I have all of this. I have all these new yarn babies. So the first one that I was just immediately carded is this colorway, and it's called Coffee Grounds. So of course, and it's their 80-10-10 fingering, which is merino cashmere nylon. And I feel like this is the perfect, I know you can't see my eye color. I posted a picture to Instagram, but it matches my eye color really well. So I'm thinking an eyeball shawl. This is going to be my iris color. I really, really love it. Just so many browns. And I had no idea what I was going to do with it when I carded it. I just liked it and loved the name, Coffee Grounds. So yes, that's been decided. The next two things I carded, and I normally don't like singles, but this was the only colorway that they had on the shop, or this was the only base that they had this colorway on. It's called Salt, and it's just this cream color with all these really light speckles, like pink and blue and yellow, and I mean, it's just very, very lightly speckled. But it's called, like I said, Salt, and it's on their BFL Light, which is a 100% British blue-faced Leicester, 420 yards, and it's a singles, which again, I normally don't ever buy singles because I don't enjoy knitting with them, but I thought, let's give it another shot. A lot of people love knitting with singles. Maybe I'm just being weird and I need to try it again. And then I got this singles, which is 100% merino, Tosh Merino Light. Look at that. And it's called Marfa. And I first thought I could do like a brioche hat with both of these, but then that brown is so similar, I didn't want it to be kind of washed out or not show up as well. So then I thought, oh my gosh, that would be an amazing brioche shawl, but I do really worry about this one bleeding. Madeline Tosh reds and pinks are notorious for bleeding just because it takes so much red dye to get that deep saturation. And it's this wine, beautiful wine color with these browns and these pinks and creams, and I just really love this, and I thought that would be a glorious fall shawl. Probably the Mina's brioche shawl. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the French name, but it means the squishy. So I was eyeballing that. Sorry, that's my alarm to water my plants. So that's that plan. This other yarn, again, I just got this because of the name. It's called Blood Runs Cold. It's a twist light. I love Madeline Tosh Twist Light. It's probably my favorite base with my favorite dyer ever. I just really enjoy working with it. I like the way it knits up. There's just nothing I don't like about it. And it is kind of blowing out because it's a true red, like a very, very true red. And again, it might bleed like the dickens, but that's okay. I just really love this colorway. I have no plans for this. I have no idea what I'll do with it. Maybe, nope, I have nothing. Maybe some socks. I have no idea. The last thing I got was a new yarn base that they started carrying, which is 100% mountain merino wool, and it's their sport, MM Sport, mountain merino sport. And I thought this would be a beautiful cowl for a trella, and I actually went on Ravelry and found a free pattern, and it's got cables and a little bit of eyelets, and it's just a close-fitting cowl. She doesn't really like scarves, but she always complains about her neck being cold in the winter, and she loves this color. Like, this is her color. So, and all of these were on sale again. I think this one was regularly $15, and I got it for $12, and it's 200 yards. Something interesting about this colorway, though, is it's got all these flecks of nature in it. It feels very much hand spun. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's like machine spun, but you see it kind of looks hand spun, and then there's bits of nature in here, like it is hand spun. So that's going to be fun. I don't mind. See, here's a bit right there. There's a bit right there. Just some nature. I do think this might pill, which kind of bums me out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So those are my new yarn babies. I didn't break my diet too bad. Got some needles, got a magazine, got a couple of balls at Michael's, so no big deal. But I'm going to stop it right here. No, I'm not. I'm going to say something else. So I've been wanting to do an interview with Amy, the proprietor of my local yarn store, West 7th Wool. And I originally mentioned this a couple months back and said if y'all have any questions about what it's like to run a yarn store, if y'all have anything that y'all specifically want to see. Amy does do online orders. I'm pretty sure online orders. If not online, then you can always call into the shop and get her to sell you and ship you anything. So I am definitely going to do that soon. She has told me, her and Hunter, her husband, actually runs the shop with her and has learned to knit and learned quite a bit about knitting. It's really impressive that he's able to help a lot of the customers now with like their colorway choices and what yarns are great for which projects they're working on. So I'm going to sit down with them really soon, and I'm going to create a thread in the Ravelry group. Just questions. If you have any questions, like interview style, I'm going to sit down with them. I've never really done an interview, so it kind of makes me nervous, but I've been watching Christy Glass, all of her interviews and stuff for tips and tricks on how to do it and how to set up and all that stuff. So if you have any of that in mind, definitely head on over to the group and leave a comment in the thread. That would be very helpful to me, and stay tuned for Atrella for all of her crafts she's been working on. She's sleeping right now still, but she'll be up later and we will sit down and let her show you what she's been working on, because she's been begging to sit down and record a podcast for 3 weeks now. So thanks guys, we'll be back. Hi and welcome back. This is going to be Blue Fox Crafts edition.
Yay!
Atrella has been wanting to do her own channel, but Dad and I say not yet. She's still a bit young for her own YouTube channel.
Lucy, now.
Go lay down. Go lay down. But she wants to show us what she's been working on.
Just lay down.
So we will wrangle the dog and get started.
No, don't lay on the house. Don't lay on.
Lucy, get up and go. Get up and go. 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 Okay. Just ignore her. She'll go. So what have you been working on, Atrella?
Okay, so I was trying to make a superhero outfit, but the cape ended up too short, so I ended up making it like one of those little shrugs and a little tank top. You can't see it, but the straps are under here.
So this is something that you sewed?
Yes, all by hand. Actually, this thing. And then it's got a little skirt too. And I put the sock upside down so you would have that little ruffle, because that would actually be like the cuff, the top of the sock.
So what was this before? They were what?
It was all socks.
Socks. Speak up and speak clearly. Don't rush through it. Keep going. You're good. Is that all you wanted to say about that?
Yeah. It's so pretty. It's got rainbows.
I really do like the shawl that you did.
Yeah.
Can you turn her around? Very cool.
And then I also made this little shirt, and it's got different colored sleeves. This is something I've never tried. I had to make 2 other sweaters. This one's more shirt-like because it's at the elbows. But it was also all socks, and I did different socks for the sleeves, which I thought was pretty cool.
I really like the V-neck on that.
Yeah. It shows up more on this doll, but I changed it. This I made yesterday or the day before?
I think it was Monday. Today's Wednesday, June 28th. Yeah. I think it was Monday that you made it.
So I made this on Monday. It's a little dog bed for my little dog, Roger. And I made this using a tutorial for a doll-sized dog bed, but just followed the same instructions and made bigger. He doesn't really think it's a bed though, he sort of thinks it's a toy.
Where did you see the tutorial?
My Froggy Stuff.
So you followed a tutorial for a doll's dog
Yes,
bed, and you
dolls.
just made it on a bigger scale, but your dog doesn't want to lay in it?
No.
But you stuffed it. What'd you stuff it with?
Stuffing.
Just polyfill?
Yeah.
And then you have this pretty fabric on the outside.
Because orange,
And then
just
this is
makes
just
dog
that
beds.
interfacing, right? The inside?
Yeah.
It looks really cute, but yeah, Roger, it's a little small for him, honestly. Come here, Roger. And he's not really a fan of it. We'll set him in it, though. That's your bed.
Love it, Roger.
Okay. What else have you been working on?
Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to take the bed out and then show that separately. Dang it, it's taped to it.
Just pick up the whole thing.
Just pick it up. Pick it up.
So what is this?
This is a bedroom for this doll, Lily. I've been wanting to make her one because we don't need 3 dolls and then another doll sleeping in one bed.
Speak up.
This bed is actually, oh, I think I did do a video on the bed separately, just not the house. So I already did the video on the bed. And then over here is her little frog. And I made all of that out of clay except for the little base, which is made of foam. I didn't really let the clay dry, I just sort of smacked it together. And then I made this
the walls and did some books.
Yeah, I didn't have any hot glue to work with, so I ended up taping that a certain way to where it would sit and make itself fold up, and then made all the little books with the little stick glue I had left. And then that's a stool from this room down here, but I found another one, so I ended up using that one instead.
So what other room have you been working on? So this is actually a remake to something you've already done, right?
Yes, it was the big room, and it was like twice the size, and it took up my whole bookcase, so I ended up shrinking it. I cut off one of the walls and then painted one purple.
And I think you showed this little hamster house before.
Okay.
There's a desk, and this is the other stool you were talking about?
Yes. I made that a while back because I found that weird plastic thing, so I was like, huh, it looks like 4 legs of a stool. And there was hot glue and paper back here that I couldn't peel off, so I ended up covering it in blue paint.
Show this up close, the little plant you made.
I had this bead for a while and couldn't find a use for it, so I made it into a vase for a little plant.
And you sewed all these pillows and stuff on the bed?
Yep, except for that one, which you made and then gave to me.
And then there's a dog bed under
there.
Show the puppy you made.
I also made this little pipe cleaner puppy. Pipe cleaner puppy with a little collar with a heart on it.
Hold it still right in front of where the camera is. There you go. Now I'll turn it to the side.
Holding it by its tail.
Show its collar. That's just a bead you had.
Mm-hmm.
And the eyes and nose are beads.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Couldn't find smaller beads. I would have used those instead. Oh. And there's this little tennis ball I made. Oh, you can't see it. I can see it.
Did you ever show this bone?
No.
With the bite marks?
No.
You did that out of clay, right?
Yeah. And just like the frog bed and little habitat, I didn't let the clay dry. I just put it in, but it's got little bite marks.
So this bed is just a cereal box.
Mm-hmm. And I did end up adding a headboard to it, which I didn't have for a while. And then just a giant collage of stuff, pretty similar to the other one, the other house.
I really like this picture over here of the Empire State Building.
Yes, got that from a newspaper. And then I made this little lamp out of a button and a broken book light. It's pretty cute. Oh, and I made some cookies. I made these cookies out of air dry clay and just painted on them. Not the plate, just the cookies.
Out of air dried clay?
Yes.
And painted them? That's cool. What else have you been working on? Talk.
Oh, yeah. I made this amazing drawing. Some of y'all may have already seen it on Facebook and whatnot.
Instagram. So what scene is this out of? Well, tell them what movie it is in case they don't know.
It's Harry Potter #4, The Goblet of Fire. And this is the scene when he's in the graveyard. And Harry Potter was all like, Expelliarmus! And Voldemort was all like, Avada Kedavra!
How long did you work on this drawing?
There were a lot of breaks in between where I just quit doing it. But I'd say over the span of 3 days, maybe. I wouldn't be able to tell you how many hours or anything.
Looks really good. I really like your detail to characters. And
Cedric's dead in the corner, and then his mom is saying, "Let go!" Cedric's all like, "Take my body back."
And I like how you did half page and then it's very cool. Is that all you've been working on?
Yes.
Alright, well, thanks so much for sticking around and seeing what my crafty kid's been up to, and I'm sure she'll be making much more over the course of the summer and wanting to get on and show you guys. So, thanks for watching. Bye.